everyone. My name is Dean Ray, and I work for a company called Sales Gym as a sales coach. In that role, I get access to working with thousands of sellers and sales managers across a wide variety of industries. And one of the most consistent questions I get when I work with these sellers and sales managers is, Dean, what can we do to shorten our sales cycle and achieve more consistent results? And that's a good question. And there's a lot of different ways I could answer that. But typically, it comes down to a few different things. First is develop an understanding of who you're actually speaking with. Next, create a discovery plan that's actually intentional and focused around the topics that matter. And then finally, make sure that whenever you're asking questions, it doesn't feel like an interrogation. It feels like you're actually building rapport and having a conversation with them. So let's go ahead and break it down, starting from that first item. And that is, you need to do some research into the type of people that want to meet with you and what their needs, goals, and concerns are. If you can establish what your typical client looks like or your typical prospect looks like and why it is they might want to use your services, what kind of problems they're trying to solve, and what kind of outcomes they're trying to achieve, that's going to give you a strong indicator of what kind of questions you need to be asking and what topics are going to be of value. And that brings us to our next topic. And that is, whenever you're doing discovery, don't just show up and haphazardly start asking questions with no plan. You need to show up with a goal in mind. If your goal at the end of the meeting is to set them up with a follow-up meeting with additional consultants or whatever it might be, know what kind of topics you should be getting into to clarify that. And typically the people we work with, they tend to go with about 3 topics that they know will unveil some of the needs, the goals, and the concerns that the prospect they're talking with might have. And by doing this more intentional discovery, what they find is they waste far less time, and it typically takes far fewer meetings to be able to understand if somebody's going to be a fit or not. And then finally, when you're conducting discovery, it shouldn't feel like an interrogation. You shouldn't have a giant list of bulleted out questions that you rattle off at them one after another and expect them to answer. That creates tension in the conversation, and that's very uncomfortable for the buyer. One of the things that we teach our people to do is ask strong, open-ended conversational style questions where you get to hear their perspective and beyond just a yes-no binary, and you actually get to hear people explain what their thinking is behind their decision-making and their needs. And if you go through this process and you identify what people need, you create a discovery plan that's based around those needs, and you ask questions in a way that engages conversations in an open-ended fashion, rather than just gets you binary yes-nos, you're going to see the sales cycle shorten and you're going to see much more consistent results. So while you're out there, make sure you're showing up with the plan. And if you'd like some guidance on how to do this, please reach out to us at salesgym.com and we'd be happy to talk with you.